Hello together. I see it's a couple of people interested in music rights, and I admit it's not the most exciting theme of all times, especially on a dance music event, but I hope some of you are interested what you can do with music, what are your rights, and how you can earn money. One thing that I'd like to clear before, I have a connection here to the video, but can I get my presentation on the screen? That looks good. Okay. Yes, my name is Micki Meuser. I don't know, maybe I should introduce myself shortly. I'm a music producer from Germany, from Berlin. I'm a songwriter and film composer. I've been doing this now for almost 40 years, and some of my artists that I produced are people like the Ärzte, or in the 80s and 90s I produced Ideal, or a feminist song called Neue Männer braucht das Land from Ina Deta, and other stuff. I wrote the music for about 70 movies, some international cinema productions, and lately I've been writing for, might sound funny, for ZDF in Germany, and I get mostly the romantic movies on Sunday night. So when most of you are looking and watching the Tatort and the crime stories or other stuff, I write the music for the romantic comedies, as we call them. And the good thing about writing for romantic comedies, is just a side story, is that you can write real music for it. You can have an orchestra, and you can have real musical pieces, as opposed to what you get from, if you do crime stories, it's mostly and stuff like that. So this is a little bit about what I'm doing, and on top of that, I'm doing a lot of political work for the composers, and cultural politics in Germany and also in Europe. I'm the head of the associations of the film composers in Germany, called Deutsche Filmkomponistinnen Union. And I'm also I got elected onto the board of directors of GEMA. And some people mistake that for being member of GEMA, being an employee for GEMA. I'm not an employee for GEMA. I'm sometimes very critical about GEMA. So I'm not GEMA, that's very important. I feel really honored that the composers in Germany elected me among, it's only 6 people, 6 composers, to control GEMA in their name. So you can ask me probably everything about GEMA, because I've been doing this now for 9 years, controlling GEMA. I know all the inside of GEMA, and but I'm not GEMA. That's important. And then we can start. I hope this is not so boring, because what we'll be talking about is music rights, and music rights is always something legal, and it has not to do much about music. But I think it's important that we ask these questions, and you can see here it's who owns what, who earns what, which is what are your rights, what are other rights, and how do you earn money with your rights. So I'm not good at these things with, seems to work though, doesn't it? This was my, what we had there. Maybe I should sit here and you can see more. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is, I'm not going to comment that. This is my reasoning that I gave to the Wave Akademie, who invited me. And when they asked me, will you be able, or would you talk about music rights, this is what I wrote them. So one thing that I always want you to know is when I talk about rights and about money coming in, this is an important message to all of you. I think some of you might be musicians, some of you might be people who work in publishing or management or something. And it's important that if we talk about money in music and if we talk about rights and stuff like that, please remember, I'm not saying that while you compose or while you write your music, you should think about the commercial success. This is very important to me. Just be wild and express yourself and go ahead. So, now we go into the theme. When you write a song or a work or a film music or whatever you create, could also be with a book, but in the music it's a very special situation. You have two types of rights. One right is the author's rights, and the other right is the neighboring rights. In German, I'd like to translate that for you because it has something more describing. In German, this is called the Leistungsschutzrechte, because it has to do something with the achievement of playing music or having the master rights. The author's rights are pretty clear. Author's rights are the right of a composer or a lyricist. And the important thing to remember about the author's rights is that they are personal rights. You can't transfer them, at least not in Europe. I mean, in the US, everything is possible. If I am a composer and songwriter in the US and I have written a nice song and Madonna comes to me and say, here are $100,000, would you give me this song? And I write my name under it and it's a song written by Madonna. Would you do that? I can maybe, I'm tempted to take the 100,000 euros or dollars and give the song away. If you do that in Europe, it's illegal. You can't do it. You can't transfer your personal rights. That's something you have to remember. It sounds funny. I mean, I would probably be tempted to take the 100,000 euros, but Madonna will make much more money with this one song. And if I may tell you where the situation is getting really important, if a film producer comes to me and says, here is the usual fee for one of the movies, it's about 15,000 euros. And if you hear another 10,000 euros or 15,000 euros, and my company is the composer of the music that you're going to write to for the film, and this is happening, and it's very important that this is illegal. So the personal rights are something that are there to protect creative people in Europe. And so something interesting is that it's illegal for the person who buys the personal rights. It's also illegal by the person who gives it away. So that's something to know. This explains itself. The neighboring rights, I have to say a couple of things about. Neighboring rights are a bunch of rights. They are not only one right. One is the musical performance. That's obvious. I mean, if you write your song and you play instruments yourself, you generate a right as a performing right. Or if you, like with the film music, if you employ an orchestra, they have the right of performance, right? And if you are a producer, it's very important, you need to get these rights from the musicians. This is being done. I just propose the easiest way what you can do is if you give them the money, hopefully you pay them. If you give them the money, you write something with accepting the money. The neighboring rights in the musical performance are being transferred from name to Micki Meuser. This can be one sentence in the bill, in the invoice, and with accepting the money, the neighboring rights are going to yourself. This is the easiest way of transferring them because you need them. Like if you have a musical performance and it's a film music, you need to transfer them later to the film producer, and the film producer needs to transfer them to the TV station, because they need the rights to air the film, to show the film, the movie, right? There are more neighboring rights. Production master rights. This is what you do when you produce something. When you're a producer, you generate master rights on the, it used to be a tape, on the audio file that you created. And these master rights are interesting because these master rights are what you sell to the label. If you do a contract with the label, they of course want the music and performance rights as well, but what you give to the label is the master rights because they need them to sell records or to put your music on platforms and stuff like that. And I put in here important for sampling because Wave Akademie told me to talk about sampling a little bit. So this is the place where the sampling will come in. And there's another thing, the sync rights. That is a very easy right. Not everybody can take your music and put it to a picture. This is important, like if Donald Trump makes a movie and uses your song and you don't want it. So you have the right to say no. And this is not something that affects here. That it's the sync rights. You can say to this party program, I don't want my music. And you can also have the sync rights. You can say, I don't want my music to this advertising, or I don't want my music to this movie. But on the other hand, this is as we say, we're talking about owning and earning money. You can, of course, the sync rights can give you money. If you have a song and your company, I mean, I got approached by Honda, this car company. They wanted a song that I wrote. And I can ask about 20,000 euros or up to 50,000 euros. It depends on where they want to show the song. If they want to put it around the world, then it would be 50,000. And if they only use Europe, it would be 20, only Germany would be 10. So that's something else that I wanted to show you is these rights are negotiable and transferable. These are not transferable, right? So it's not going to be so long. This is the same thing. And by the way, here is Alexandra from Wave Akademie, and I'm giving the slides to her. So if you want to approach her, if you want the slides, and if you want to go through this again, just contact Alexandra and she'll have everything as a PDF file, right?
Thank you, Micki.
So this says the same that I just talked about, that it's necessary, they need it, that usually you get a fee and a remuneration and an advance for your rights. And this is something interesting. This is something you have to have in mind. Some of these rights you can give exclusively, like a label will want the rights exclusively, because they say, if you go with us and we do promote you and we do work for you, we want the rights exclusively, and no other labels can take it. But if I do something with an advertising company, or if I do something with a film producer, I might give them the music non-exclusive. That means they can use it, but I can also use it for other stuff, for different stuff, right? This is something, before you sign a contract, always think about, could I give these rights away non-exclusively? Because then your contract partner can work with the rights and you at the same time can use them again. So, now, what do you do with the author's rights? This puts a light especially on the author's rights. And the author's rights, they generate royalties every time they are being used. This can be a movie on TV, this can be a concert, this can be everything, pressing a record, like we had vinyl records just then, or CD, or being used on a platform. This is where the author's rights come in. And I copied something from PRS, this is an author's rights society, and they say this: you have the sole right, this is your right, to copy the music, to issue, lend or rent copies to the public, perform, show and play the music, communicate the music. And if somebody wants to communicate and do this, then they have to give the creative person that created the song or the lyrics, they have to give them a share. And this is what you can negotiate yourself. If, say, ARD in Germany or EDF wants to air your music, you can go to them and say, I want for a minute of my music, I want 200 euros or something. But if you're a hit producer or something, you can't go to every radio and TV station. So you have these collecting societies. This is something where many songwriters come together and collect, have a company that collects for them and shares out the money that they collected. And some of these collecting societies in Germany, you know, it's GEMA. In England, it's PRS, Performing Rights Society, and in France, it's SACEM. And all of the civilized countries in the world do have a collecting society, or CMO, Collecting Management Organization, that's what they call it. And these organizations have contracts with each other. So when I have written the music for an American movie, and the movie is being aired in the US, the TV station or the cinema pays to ASCAP. This is the American CMO. And ASCAP has a contract with GEMA. They look it up, who is this Micki Meuser? And all the composers that are with collecting society that are registered have an IP number, like a computer, by the way. And they if ASCAP sees Micki Meuser IP so-and-so, so they see it's this guy's with GEMA, so they transfer the money to GEMA, and GEMA pays it out for me. And vice versa, which happens much more often, if we have the music of American composers being on radio in Germany, GEMA collects it from the radio station and looks it up. Oh, it's this composer, and they are with BMI or ASCAP, and they send it to ASCAP, right? By the way, if you have any questions, just ask me. So, this also explains what I just said. Here is a list where this word that I used, usage, where that can happen. Music can be used on radio, TV, pressing plant, concert, gastronomy. There's a list: audio, video streaming, audio, video download. And there's new forms of usage of music. And whenever there's a form of usage of music, the legislation says there should be, if profit is being made with music, there should be a small part for the composer and the lyricist, by the way. And as we can't negotiate that everybody separately, what happens is that societies like GEMA, they negotiate tariffs with all the organizations and all the places where music is being used. So that has an advantage, because then all the, let's say the gastronomy, all the pubs, like the pubs, they play music. And to be able, and the legislation, it's not GEMA who says this, the legislation in Germany says that, also in France or in England, in most civilized countries, when music is lifting up the atmosphere and there is a benefit from it, the owner of this pub, for instance, or the owner of the fitness studio, church, or sun studio, or whatever, has to pay a small amount to the creators. And now, what do they have to play? So there will be there will be negotiations between GEMA and the pub. And saying a pub is about, for a year, it's about 100 euros. So the pub is paying that to GEMA, And GEMA is trying to share that accordingly from what they find out what is being played in pubs to the composers that are hopefully or likely being played in pubs. So you see in pubs and in fitness studios and in hotels, you can't force and ask the people to say what they play, to make music lists. But on radio, TV, pressing plant, concert, you can do so, audio, video streaming, you can do so. So you have a list. Who is the composer of what song and what song was being played? And if you have that, then it's really easy. All you need is like a big computer, and GEMA has that. They have a big computer department. What they do is like they connect about 100 billion of usage with about 2 million songs and about how many composers? In the world, it's also about 2 million composers. So this is just a thing that a computer does. And the computer in GEMA, and this is something that I'm the younger generation in the GEMA. This is something that I was, when I came in, I was really strictly put that on, that the computer needs to be very good so we can identify everything. You know? And the GEMA computer is so good that it does at the same time PRS, dimension PRS. It calculates their usage, and also STIM, which is the Swedish company, not company, CML. Right. This is again explaining a little bit about GEMA. What's the time, by the way? Am I too long? No. Okay. GEMA has about 90,000 members. It's created by their members. It's not a state organization, or it's not a company that makes profit. It has to pay out everything that it gets in, right? It has to be at zero at the end of the year. Has two types of members, ordinary members and extraordinary members. Why is that? This is because the GEMA is being supervised by the Deutsche Patent- and Markenamt, which is the German Ministry of Law. And they said that the professional musicians and professional composers can't be or must not be, they said, majorized by amateurs. That sounds really cruel, but you know, these 85,000 composers are not living from their composing their music, but these 5,000 are living from their music. So Patentamt told GEMA that these, because every decision is democratic in GEMA, these don't have the right to vote. They get the same money as these. There's no difference in getting the money, but these extraordinary members can't vote. But they can elect 64 delegates that can go into the General Assembly and vote as well. Right? If anybody tells you GEMA is bad or GEMA is not giving the money out equally, this is wrong. GEMA, for every piece of music, it doesn't matter who you are, if you are an important songwriter or not, everybody gets the same. And it's like that. If your song is being played a lot, then you get more. And if your song is not being played a lot, then you get less. It's like a market thing. And if it was different, I would be very upset. And this is why people from the board of directors like me are being elected from the composers to control that this is happening. Right? Okay, we switch from who owns what to who earns what, and we come to the neighboring rights again. Any questions about the author's rights? Okay, good. So I give you examples of how neighboring rights are where they matter and where they are important. Like in a film music contract, you negotiate a fee. Say a 90 minutes movie, like I do them for TV. I get the usual fee is like 15,000 euros. I can ask more. Maybe they take somebody else then. I can ask less. Maybe I'm stupid then, or I'm not very nice to my colleagues. So for that fee, the neighboring rights are being transferred to the film producer. As I said, he needs them, or she, and they give the rights to the TV station, right? And what was I going to say? Well, maybe it's not important. More important for you, most of you, I would suspect, is this thing. If you sign with a label, what are you transferring to the label? They give you a contract, and you see these rights and these rights and these rights, and most of the rights are neighboring rights, and most of the rights are here in this. This is, as we said, the right of you as a playing musician, the right from the master, from the tape that you finished, that you produced, the sync rights. Then you give the rights away, which are non-exclusive. You need to look that they're non-exclusive, of make a photo of you for promotion and distributing these photos. And they probably want you to have they want the right to ask you to do promotion. And there's a list of rights. But these are the neighboring rights, and some of them I gave you the 3 main neighboring rights here. This is important for you to know. And just an advice from me, if you sign a label deal, something to watch, really to watch, is that the merchandising rights, you know, merchandising, they do like scarves and cups and all that, from your name or the name of your band, you should keep as long as possible. I had the example with the Ärzte in Germany, and they gave their neighboring rights away, their merchandising rights away much too early. Mind you, they got 1 million marks at that time, but the merchandising agent made about 10 million. So this is really a game. You have to be careful that in your contract that the merchandising rights are being taken out, and you don't give them away, especially not when you're a young artist and when you're starting. Don't give them away. Keep them. Right. So we have one more thing. I don't know if that's, most of you are German, may I ask? Yeah? No? Okay. In Germany, we have something that is an association that is like GEMA is taking care of the author's rights. We have something called GVL, and they are taking care of the neighboring rights. And this has to be limited, because they can only take care of the neighboring rights that you haven't given away, right? If they can't, for me as a film composer, it doesn't do anything, because I gave my neighboring rights to the film producer. They have them, and GVL can't go to the TV station and say, give us some money for the neighboring rights, because they say, we got the neighboring rights of Micki Meuser and all the other film composers we have here. Here are the contracts. So still they have a couple of places where they can collect neighboring rights. And for instance, this is something, the cable, you know, in Germany, the TV stations are airing through the air, and also cables, but there are special cable programs, and this is where GVL can collect money for the film composers. And for the songwriters and, I don't know, instrumentalists, you need to tell them that you played on one of the records, and then they can collect something from the radio, but not all of it. Right. So, this was what I was talking about, a little bit about GVL. They are looking for the rights of performing musicians, not composing. this is something you need to keep in mind. Always these two type of rights that I had on my first slide, author's rights and performing neighboring rights. They are different rights. Don't mix them up. And this explains a little bit what they do. They collect the money everywhere performed music generates value. This is based on the German copyright and proprietary laws. And they also share the money that they collect between the people who are musicians, playing musicians, right? And they did this until the year, this is something historic, until the year 2010, they did it to all the performing musicians. But then the American and British association stepped in and threatened to take G4L to court, and they would have won. It was very likely that G4L would lose. So they had to adjust it to the use on radio station. So it depends on if you're being played. He always adjusts the camera, and then I get up, and then it. Okay, I stay like this. It depends on if you're being played on the radio. You can't just say I played on this record and then claim the money. It needs to be aired on the radio these days. This is a major change of G4L, and this is why G4L is not working as good, and some people are complaining about the G4L. But G4L still registers all the songs and works, musical works, in a database called ArtSys. And something to know is GEMA consists only of music authors. But G4L also has actors and labels inside. So there's different interests in G4L, and there's always fights of sharing the money. So G4L is a little weaker than GEMA. It's a lot weaker in a way. But still, and this is already the end of what I want to tell you about the rights. I start at the end. My advice would be become a member of G4L, or if you're in a different country, find out what Performing Rights Society is taking your rights on your songs that you play on, and become a member of that company. In Germany, becoming a member of G4L is free. You don't pay anything. And register works that you played or performed on. And then eventually you will get some money. This is, I mean, there's nothing wrong about this. Maybe it's not a lot of money, but it's a little bit of money. And I can tell you I get about 1,000 or 1,500 euros per year from G4L because I played on, I'm a bass player and keyboard player, so I played on about 30 records or 40 records, and some of them are being played on radio. So it doesn't hurt to be a member. More important, become member of GEMA or your collecting management organization in your country. And register your works, the compositions that you do, and upload sound files. This is something important that is very new. I told you about the music lists that radio stations have to send to GEMA to show what they aired, what they transmitted, and the music they played. Same goes for TV. This system is about to change. We get something, and I think it's really good. You know this app called Shazam that recognizes music. This is being done now with all the TV stations in Germany and all the radio stations. They are being monitored from outside with a music recognition technology. And the music recognition technology will tell you this is this song, and this is at this time it's being aired, it's being played by this radio station. And makes it easier. Radio stations don't have to fill up lists or give the list from what they played. Somebody from outside, mostly companies like BMAT or SoundMouse, they're called, are monitoring TV and radio stations and coming up platforms like YouTube and Spotify from the outside. So that makes it really much easier to have a really to recognize fairly who is really being played. Because there's lots of examples, I will tell you later, where the music was played, but you don't know what was played. And this goes in a big pot, like in GEMA, it goes in a big pot, and GEMA tries to share it and to pay it out to the people that are likely being played. So you look at the hit parades, and the charts, what has been played on the German radio, private radio, college radio, local radio, and you make a list, and then the most played get more money of this pot. As I told you before, nobody keeps this pot. It has to be paid out to zero at the end of the year. So this has to be shared, but you don't really know who was being played. And there are a couple of things even in concerts, like there are many tariffs. I told you GEMA negotiates the tariffs with the, say, concert promoters. And the concert promoters said, we need different tariffs. We need tariffs for venues with 0 to 200 people, a tariff from 200 to 500, 500 to 1,000 and stuff. And they must be different tariffs. So in the negotiation, it came out with 12 different tariffs. From stadium, which is the tariff K12, to the lowest tariff is K2. The K1 is a special tariff. So in this K2 tariff, which is a tariff for concert venues from 0 to 200 people, there's about 50% where the promoter and the gastronomer pays a price which is 24 euros for a concert, 24 euros. But at 50%, we don't know who played because the promoter didn't tell us the band who played and what they played. So GEMA gets the money, but they don't know where to put it, where to share it. So this goes in a big pot, and they try to find out later who plays all these concerts. And they try to be fair and share it with the people who are likely and the bands that are likely playing these concerts. And to tell you how crazy this is, in stadiums like the K12 tariff, there is still 10% where GEMA doesn't get a music list. And the promoter in the stadium, like where you have like 30,000 to 50 or 100,000 people, the promoter pays about 30,000 euros or 50,000 euros, and nobody comes and claims the money. So this is money that goes into, as I said, into the black box, as we call it, and they try to share it in a really fair and justified way. So this is why you should upload your music as sound files. It's possible on the website of the GEMA. You can do that, and it's just an upload, and it should be waves or MP3, whatever you want to upload. And the thing is, if you have such a monitoring system and your song is not there, it can't be recognized. So this is why this upload and this monitoring system has to develop, because GEMA doesn't have all the songs in the world. The record companies and labels are fine. They upload all the music all the time. But some of you are independent artists and do it and release music yourself, like I do very often. It's important that you upload the music that you created so it can be recognized on radio and on TV, and in the future also on platforms. You can sort of recognize how many clicks have been done in Germany, because GEMA can only do Germany. You get a figure that is worldwide, but you need to have the GEMA can't go and take the royalties for Sweden or for the US. You need the figure for Germany. Right, here's an important sentence that comes from the time when GEMA was really attacked, and people said GEMA is really bad and GEMA is killing music and stuff like that. That has never been the case. GEMA is only not popular because they're asking this share for composers, and they give it to the composers. And of course, the digital companies and the gastronomers don't like to pay this money. But this is the question, how in a modern society, how do you pay creativity? Like Google, they say, okay, we give to some people, we give some money, the rest can go, you know? This is like a patronship, you know, like a good king who pays the musician after his how he feels, you know? And this is not good. This system with the royalties and the tariffs and everybody who makes a profit on music pays a little share to the composer, I think is very modern. It's like marketing action thing, and it's also fair. If you have a lot of usage, you get a lot of money. If your music is not played at all, then you get nothing. So we think this is a really fair system, and GEMA is, like PRS and all the other CMOs, are working accordingly. And this is why you should become a member of GEMA, even if the gastronomer says, well, if you play in our club, you can't be a member of GEMA. He just wants to save the 24 euros that he has to pay for you. And just keep in mind that as we have this black box of 50% in the K2 tariff, as I just said, we have this black box of 50%. In the K2, if you play it, and if you're the composer of the whole evening and the lyricist as well, the gastronomer pays 24 euros and you get 104 euros from GEMA. You get a share of the big black box that we don't know what to do with it. We have to find out who plays concerts. But what we did is do a benefit program for the small tariffs in small clubs. So if a gastronomer says you shouldn't be in GEMA if you play here, just don't tell them that you're in GEMA. You know, play and just don't tell them, because it's stupid. They only want to save the money. And at the same time, they say, we like musicians, we like composers, but we're not ready to pay 24 euros for a composer who makes an evening of concert and plays for, sometimes they don't even pay a fee for the concert. You play, you know, all this, you play for a hat or something. And so this is something that is a bit emotional, I must admit, but I thought I'd put it in here anyway, because we had a hard time, composers and GEMA as well, because digital platforms, like the Googles and everyone, they wanted to get rid of the author's rights and all these rights and wanted to make the business themselves. And gastronomers like the DEHOGA, Deutsche Hotel- und Gaststättenverband, they joined them because they wanted to get rid of this whole money that every hotel and every club has to pay. So the last advice would be exchange experience with colleagues. That is because, you know, how do I find out that for a 90-minute movie, the usual price for music is 15,000 euros? I talked to colleagues who have done it before. So this is something that you should keep in mind. The colleagues that I asked were in an association, Berufsverband für Filmmusik, an association for film music in Germany. And not only in this case, they helped me a lot. So this makes a lot of sense to be part of an association. And for songwriting, in Germany, we have VERSO, Vereinigung Songwriter, which is also an association to exchange your experiences. you have a Deutsche Komponistinnenverband, which is the composers union, where you can just as a composer join and find out. And there's more associations. Just look around in the internet. And that would be all for the presentation. And to go on, I think, what's it? That's the time. We're already over with the time, are we? But maybe if you have any questions, I was going to talk to you about sampling, which can be very short. Sampling is completely unclear. Sampling is the European Court and the German Bundesgerichtshof. They both had verdicts, and they kept it really unclear. So they saw both sides. They say, if you sample something and it's recognizable, then you should, the author, the original person that generated the music, should get a share. And you should talk to them and make a contract. Otherwise, it's illegal. But if you use something and it's really small and you don't recognize it, sampling is fair. And on the other side, they said, at the same time, if you use sampling for making something artistically completely new, then it's also fair. But they didn't say how far you could go. So again, my advice would be, if you sample something, I mean, we're all, I don't know if there's any publishing people here, but most of us are musicians. We try to be fair with us. If I find a piece of music and a loop or something and I want to use it, and there's a chance that it's going to be commercially successful, that I make money with it, it would only be fair to ask the person who did the loop in the first place and to ask the rights and share or give them a little share. This is just a fair thing. To steal is not good. And we are waiting for a verdict, for a final verdict, but it's going to be hard because the European Court has given it back to the German court to decide for Germany. And they are still working on it. That would be it for sampling. So I was invited by Wave Akademie from Alexandra, and she has all the slides as well. And Wave Akademie also has a lot of information. Maybe you go on their page, and if you have any questions, it's probably good to visit Wave Akademie and see what they can do for you. And if there are no questions, there's one, yeah, okay.
I have questions about the personal rights.
Yes.
Because you said it's illegal to sell them for the composer.
Yeah.
Are there any consequences when doing it, and what?
It's in Germany it's called Strafrecht. There's a punishment on it. It's very rare. Let's say you don't go to jail, but why would you do it? Because if it comes out, if somebody finds out you did a ghostwriting, which is the terminus for giving your personal composing rights away, then you also give the money away that you would have gotten from GEMA or PRS. So the only thing is that you might not get that money even if that comes out and somebody says this is the real composer. Don't hope to get your money from GEMA on top. I had one case in film music where somebody called because it's public I can say the name, Kurt Kress, drummer and composer for Gute Zeiten, Schlechte Zeiten, which is it's a daily show, and that's a lot of music and a lot of money coming in because it's being showed every day. And what he has a factory at home. He bought a big house and put some suites with composer and put like 5 or 6 composers in there who compose. And it's all under his name, but he never. He's a drummer. He didn't compose anything. So one of the composers had enough. He pays these composers a monthly fee of 1,200 euros. For that, they can come in and compose all day, and they have a regular income. One of these, after 2 years, one of these composer had enough, and he tried to take him to court. But it was useless, because he was hoping to get the money that he generated back. He wasn't punished in the end. It was a little remark. He didn't go to jail, obviously, but it was a thing that he had a mark that he did something illegal. It's like a lot of bad parking or something in this sense. But you don't go to jail, but don't hope to get your money back. Okay, you can ask me personally as well. You'll find me, Micki Meuser. Send me a mail. I might not be able to answer immediately, but if you have more questions about legal and rights and stuff like that, don't hesitate to contact me, and I will answer eventually. Okay, thank you.